Hey, everybody, this is Mary.
And this is Julie.
And you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club. Hey, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the High Priestess Hype Club. We are so excited for you to be here. Thank you for listening whenever you're listening. Whether you're just stumbling upon us or you're a weekly listener, we'd love for you to be weekly, but we're happy you're here. So
look, we're just happy people are listening to us jaw about stuff.
Yeah. So I think, Jules, we talked about this episode being about burning the magical candle at both ends.
Ooh, because there's a lot happening in the world.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about on another show that Mercury retrograde's coming for August. But and usually that makes us slow down. But I think during the rest of the year, when we don't have Mercury retrograde, we're always running. I think that's for a lot of people, right? So if you burn your magical candle at both ends, how do you slow yourself down? Because sometimes, I don't know about you, Jules, but I'm not very good at this. And so my body finally is like, you're going to oversleep.
Right. Like, well, guess what? You got a cold.
Right. Hi. Yeah.
Guess what? We're just going to be laid out for a day. No. And I go, yeah.
And we talked about one of our other shows. We talked about intentional rest. But sometimes you can't find the time for that. So what do you do in your day where you're running around like crazy? How do you find that moment of maybe slowing it down or taking a minute with it, right? So Jules and I were talking off air about this because we need this a lot. And what we do a lot of times is, one of us will remind us of something. Like, so I'll say to Julie, like, hey, I think we got a new moon here. Or she'll say to me, hey, we got a full moon here. We should do something. It's like, oh yeah, like that's, yeah. So
is there a holiday coming up? Should we do something for that? We've been doing pretty good though. Because I used to only miss moons. Y'all remember this? I used to miss them all, but we've been doing better.
We've been doing better. Exciting. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, guys. You can't always be perfect at things.
Right.
You want to follow the moon. You want to do certain things. Sometimes you have to give yourself some slack for not. It's okay, or just thinking about, like, let's take the moons, for example, because that is a magical thing or a thing that we want to do. All right, we might have missed it this month, but we can think of another time to do something with it.
Sure.
Or like you and I also, Jules, you'll be like, all right, we're going to sit down on this day and do it. So having like that buddy, having that accountable partner, it helps. We were doing that for body doubling too.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was really good. Yeah. So can you, because you were the one who introduced me to it, Jules, can you explain the body doubling for people?
So my understanding of it, because I think it's something I've kind of just done, and I don't know if it's like a newer term for something that hasn't regular term that I just don't know. But basically it's like, especially like it can be helpful when you feel like you can't get started on something, or you have, a task that you want to do that you don't want to do. Sometimes if you just like sit with someone or do it with someone in tandem, it can really help. I know they talk about it a lot in different like neurodivergent communities and everything. For me, it helps when we sit on a call and just like, I'll work on business stuff and Mary works on something else. And we can still chit chat a little bit, but it's kind of like a way I will wiggle out of my own focus time very quickly and very easily, because there's always stuff to do. There's something else I need to do. But when we're here together, it helps a lot. And so I think that's one way.
We're talking about burning the magical candle at both ends.
I mean, we're tired. Okay. And I think burning the magical candle at both ends also has to do with like, sometimes life is just life and too hard. Yeah. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. It has only been a week. And like, I think I told Mary, I don't know if we talked about this on one of the other episodes, but like last week, I took a day off. I was like, I'm taking a mental health day off. I put in PTO. I did everything. I went and got my hair done. That was nice. And then I ran like an errand. And then I was like, I'm going to take, one of my friends was like, you should like do something for yourself that's fun, like plan some not doing anything fun time. I was like, oh, I hadn't done that. I was going to just like run errands and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So, is taking TLDRs. Then I had to be at the emergency vet for my sweet cat-in-law who is fine. But so I was there and I was like, okay, all right. So the next day, and that was stressful, but he's fine. Thank goodness. We love him. And then the next day I was like, okay, it's 3:30. I'm going to take 30 minutes. I'm reclaiming some time, and I'm gonna take 30 minutes, and I'm gonna lay down. And my sweet neighbor accidentally hit my car with their RV. So then I dealt with that for the rest of the day. And then the next, and it just, sometimes life just stacks, even when you're trying to take intentional rest or whatever, take some time off to like relax, replenish. And like, how do you handle that? And look, I was not perfect about it. I mercifully didn't like flip out or anything.
Yeah.
And at one point, Tracy did say to me, they're like, you're handling all this really well. You seem to be doing okay. I'm like, oh, inside I'm not. Like, I'm glad it looks good. And I've got some coping skills, but inside it's not great, but it could be worse. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I know you mentioned the intentional rest, and I just want to be like, shout out to my friend Lindsay, who was like, I went and intentionally rested the other day. And I was like, yes. Yay, that's exciting. But I think that, so when I also try to do a daily, now this sounds more intense than it is, but like I have a few different like shrines in the house that I like try to light a candle every day and just take a minute. Have I been just lighting the candle and not taking a minute? Yes. The end of last week, did I not light any candles for like 3 days and then feel a little bad about it? But then everybody's like, it's fine. Yes. So some of it's like, I struggle with like perfectionism and all that kind of stuff too. So just allowing it to be like, it's okay. Like if you miss a day, it's not ruined. Like it's okay. Right. We're just doing what we can.
That's it. And I think body doubling for me.
Oh my God, is that where this started? And I rambled so far off track.
No. Cause I'm gonna tie it all in there. No. It's really good. Yeah, no, it's really good. Cause I like sometimes body doubling for me with you is like, I just need to work on something that I keep procrastinating on. Or like there's been times I'm like, you know what? I just want to read an article that I haven't been able to read. It's on my list. Like it's, I think body doubling, since we use it for like a corporate term or like a work term. Yeah, you can do that, but also you can do things like, I know if I'm doing something and I have like someone with me, it's not as boring. Like, so if I want to rest a little bit, or I want to write something, a blog that I haven't gotten around to, like, I don't always look at it as like a work thing. I'm going to do something for myself for 20 minutes or whatever it is. Yeah. So there's all different ways you can do it, guys. Another time I've done it with other folks, it's that we set a timer for 20 minutes. We stay on camera, but go off mic, and then we work. And then, 5 minutes, we come back and like, we'll do something for 5 minutes, like dance or talk or something, and then go back to work. So it can be really intense, but I like it when you and I do it, Jules, when we're like, hey, did you get this? Can I share something with you? It's like, it's fun.
Yeah, it's really nice, and you can get that collaboration, but it also just kind of like, oh my God, so look at this. But and I like the idea that I did like that when you were kind of doing the body doubling plus like Pomodoro rounds, I think was pretty good. That's like the 20 and then 25. And I like those. I have a little app on my phone that'll like for that too. I like all of these things. Do I implement them successfully? Always? No.
Sometimes, sometimes, right? That's the point, is sometimes I think, it's, and then, the other things you were talking about is like you took a day off and then you had to take care of something. Well, I was thinking to myself, if you hadn't taken that day off, maybe that would have been not as easy to deal with.
Well, right. And I thought about that too, that like, okay, it actually was a good time for something stressful to happen because I was available to help. Right. So I was thankful that I could help that way. Yeah. I think that that did help. Like thinking like, okay, it was good because the other person who could have helped wasn't available, or their schedule wouldn't be as easy to shift. Like, so that was good. And I'm trying to be positive about things, but I'm also trying to let myself complain a little bit instead of stuffing stuff. And I feel like I'm a lot less resentful about things when I do that. So that takes some of the pressure off of when it's like the burning from both ends, right? Like if you have a friend or someone in your life that can be like, hi, I need to vent. Just please let me vent. I love all of my people and I care a lot about them, but oh my God. But you know what I mean? And not like in a gossipy way. Like, I love my children. I'm very thankful for them. There are some days that if they say one more thing to me, I need a minute. And it's not because they're bad or anything. It's because I'm
it's mom
overstimulated or stressed, or there's too much happening. So it's nice having that safe person to be like, can I tell you, if I hear one more thing about wanting to play Fortnite, it's going to be the end of me. Like, I'm just going to cease to exist.
I'm just going to spontaneously combust.
I'm just gone. I'm just gone.
Uh,
I don't know how, but I won't be here anymore.
Yeah, that's why we need those rest times. Like I was
yes.
There's a group that performs in Boston called Booty Vortex.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you about them. So like a friend of mine and I are talking about getting together to do it. And she's like,
Yeah.
it's a Wednesday night. I'm like, yeah, I think I need to go out on a school night. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think I need that. And she was like, really?
Sometimes
I
you
go,
gotta.
yeah, I got to go out on a school night. And it's going to dance and stuff like that. And it's,
Oh yeah.
it'll be fun. I'm not worried about what other people are going to see, like whatever. I'm just going to go and have a good time. But
Dude, it'll be so fun.
yeah. So yeah, maybe burn the candle at both ends because I'm going to get home late. But you know what? It'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need that. You need that.
Yeah. Sometimes you need it. And sometimes when it's like your witchy practice or spiritual practice or however you want to frame it up, like it's okay to let some things drop. But it's also important to know when you're feeling like I'm not doing enough in one space and it's impacting me a certain way. Right. And like a more of a like mundane version of that is like during last week when all these things were happening, I was missing like working out and getting to hike. Like I didn't go to dance. I missed a couple hikes. And by I guess it was Sunday, I was like, I have to go out.
Right.
Like this is affecting me, or just like we have to clean up this space.
Right.
It's make it, it's too much. That's part of what happens to me too, is that like as things clutter, my mind clutters more too. That doesn't mean I keep like the perfectly clean house, because I don't, because if I did, maybe I wouldn't have as much mind clutter. But it hits a point, and sometimes you can feel that maybe if I do something else for myself, it'll be good.
Yeah. And then you can come back to those those mundane things that you need to do, and it's you have a different look at it,
Yeah.
So if you go hiking, you come back, it's like, okay, I've got a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And that's why those things are so important to do, because you feel like you don't have the time, but if you don't make the time, you're not at your best.
Right.
Really not.
Exactly.
And I get it, everyone. Like, I understand people have very busy schedules. They're like, I can't make the time. It's like, well, maybe once a week is okay. Like maybe just getting a little bit in every day is okay.
Oh, and I remember when I had to start at just like 15-minute walk a week, because I couldn't see how I would have more time to do other things, just because so much was happening. And I think there's some of like, where do you prioritize yourself? And people talk about that all the time, just how people talk like, well, I think you're afraid of failure, you're afraid of success. And most everybody's immediate response to that is going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why would I be afraid of achieving something? But I think there's a similar thing there, especially where it's kind of like, you don't prioritize yourself, and that doesn't mean we're getting like so toxically main character about something that we don't care about other people. But it's important to make that time. So whether it's like setting a tea light in the morning, or like just having your cup of coffee, or sitting outside, or whatever it is that fills that part. If you think of you're having a bunch of different meters, like on The Sims, because I think about that a lot, like hunger, like fun and whatever, if you think about like, how's your spirituality meter? Like, how's that part of you? What can you do for that? And sometimes it doesn't take long. And sometimes you want to go on a long retreat, and that's fun too.
And that's fun too. Right. Yeah. I think it's whatever's going to work for you, but do something, because you can't neglect that body. You can't neglect the spiritual body, and you can't neglect the other ones either. You can't neglect your physical and your mental and emotional. You can't, your practical, you can't neglect those. There is a balance that needs to be there. So when you take moments for yourself and then go back to the stuff you got to do, you'll see there'll be a difference. So it's, all work and no play is going to make you sad, so you need the balance of both. You need the balance of both. And people do it very busy people find time to get their stuff in that they need to get in. They really do.
It's true. And it's, and sometimes we have different levels of resources and things available to us. But, I think that I know that in the past, I've been pretty good at finding the reasons why I can't do something instead of the reasons I can,
Yeah.
So I think it's important to try to like notice when you're doing that, even if you have a hard time changing that to start, like just noticing where you're doing that. Yeah. Maybe you pay attention, right? And then maybe the next time, even if you can't find a solution to override it, maybe just set it to the side, and then start to build out. I think we talked about this last time. Me as an Aries, I'm there's a lot of times that I'm just like, but I want it to be done and perfect now. Like, okay.
Right.
Oh, I found the thought. I've changed it. I'm better. Let's go. And it doesn't work that way.
No.
As much as I want it to, like it doesn't work that way.
Sagittarians understand that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's necessary. I think it's necessary. You know, and I also think anything's better than nothing. So if you do, like you said, you got a 15-minute walk in a week.
That's something. Great. It was a start, right?
Yeah. It's something, guys. So you got to get something in, you know, and the stuff will still be there the next day.
It'll still be there.
It'll still be there. So
my bullet journal tells me. No.
Same. But you know what I notice? It's like, if I think about, you know, there's things that come up in front of you and you're like, oh, here's all the reasons why I can't do it. And there's times, I'm not saying I'm always good at this, guys, but there's times that I'll do this thing where I'll go, there's no reason why I can't do this. Let's find a way to do this.
Yeah.
And then your brain's like, oh, well, we got to find a way to do this now.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So you're sort of giving your mind the space to find the solution instead. Because if you're saying, I can't do this, and this is the reason why, your mind will go, oh yeah, we're right. We're up with that. Okay. Yeah. Right. Here's other reasons why we can't do it. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to make this 15 minutes work somewhere. Let's see where I can make it work, or let's see how I can make it happen. Your brain will be like, yeah, I'm all about it. So let's think about that. How do we make it happen?
Oh, I'm going to try that. Like specifically that. That's really good.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. Like all of a sudden the option comes in your head. Like, oh, I can do it that way. Or this, like driving it this way, I can swing by and grab that there. And like your brain will find the solution if you let it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So not perfect at it, guys, but this isn't about perfection. Oh, no. No. Especially if you're listening to this podcast, don't be looking for perfection. But we have a lot of good ideas.
All rambling and tangents.
We have good ideas. And we share them with you. And if you have the same good ideas, you let us know. That's what we do. Yeah, exactly. Talk to us. So you can find us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com. Julie, how can people find us on social media and web and all that?
So we're on TikTok and Instagram and I think Facebook. We're trying to get better at our social media friends. Come see us. We're all over the place at High Priestess Hype Club. You can check out our website at hypeclub.live.
Yeah.
And you can email us. Did you already say the email that I missed? That you can email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you about what you want to hear, or if any of this helps or doesn't or whatever. We just like talking to y'all.
We do. So feel free to reach out to us, guys. Reach out to us on the social medias, like Jules said, wherever, and we will answer your questions. If you have questions, you know, we love to hear from you. So
yes.
All right. Until next time, guys, just remember, you are magic. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club, and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now, because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.